Okay, all right. Okay, guys. All right. Thank you guys so much for being on. And we have Ashley, and I'm so excited to have her on because she's an ambassador and she's a rock star and she is amazing. And she has so many awesome tips for you. So, and I was on hers last night. So if you just kind of want to like go off, I love when people do that because you kind of get these bursts of like, oh yes, this is a perfect tip, you know? So, let's just go ahead and start with your story. And also, I know my team, they love to hear tips about distributors and kind of sealing the deal and where you find them and things like that, which I know are people's usual questions. But at this time of the year too, I think it's so important to have that personal development. So if you could give some tips on that too. And I know like, you know, we're about to explode. And so having the right mindset right before we do is going to be amazing. Okay, so go ahead, Ashley.
Awesome. Hey guys, thanks for having me tonight, Christy. So I am Ashley Ranow, and I have been in the business, it'll be 4 years in February, and it was so crazy. You guys, I had like an aha moment or like just an emotional moment this morning. I don't know about you guys, but I look at that. It used to be called Time Hop. Now it's on this day or on this day or something like that. So that's like the first thing I do every morning. And so I was scrolling back through and I got to 4 years ago today. So let me backtrack. I heard about this business in 2011, right after I had my son. We lived in Orlando, Florida. And I was in this like breastfeeding support group. And it was like, it actually met at the hospital. And this girl, a friend, requested me on Facebook, like after we left the class, and she started talking to me about It Works. And I was like, listen, like I'm a nurse. That's cute. You got scammed. I'm sorry. I feel really bad for you. And I just totally was like the biggest hater, you guys. And so she would message me and send me, you know, different things or whatever, but every month. And then a girlfriend from high school started doing it. She would message me. And you guys, this went on for 36 months till I said yes. Every single month. And so, and I would watch and I would stalk, I know, right? And so today, 4 years ago, my daughter was 19 days old and we were struggling so bad, you guys, financially. We looked like we had this white picket fence. We had a 2-year-old little boy. We just had our baby girl. You know, we're rolling into Christmas. I am a nurse. My husband worked insurance, and we looked like we had it all together, but you guys, we were dying. We were financially dying. We were emotionally dying. Like it was just bad. And so it really took a change in my circumstances, and like our life for me to think something's got to give. And so I remember sitting a couple nights prior to today, 4 years ago, and we got our house and water were heated by propane, and our propane tank had 5% left in it. It's the dead of winter in Missouri, and we hadn't paid the last propane bill, which was like $700. So they weren't going to refill our propane. And, you know, here we are with a newborn and a 2-year-old. And so my mother-in-law ended up paying that bill for us. And that was the first time that we had ever had to like swallow our pride and ask for help. And it was crazy because like we worked good jobs. Like I made $50+ an hour as a night shift nurse, worked 60 hours a week, but we just could not get ahead. And so student loans were like the big thing that were killing us. And I remember sitting there with her, you know, in my lap, just sobbing. And my husband and I were adding up what my student loans were. And I went to one account in the top right-hand corner. There was this like really fine print that said if I kept making my minimum payments, they'd be paid off in 2030. So that would have made my newborn baby a senior in high school and my 2-year-old a sophomore in college when I paid off one of my 3 student loans. And you guys, that was the life change that really just hit me hard and made me realize like you're stupid. Like you are stalking these people. Why are you being such a, you know, skeptical jerk? Like why, like they're changing their lives. Like I was seeing them do things. I was seeing them get to, you know, talk about just not struggling, talking about the struggle. And that was the stuff that I related to. So I finally messaged my friend from high school and I just talked to her about the greens. I didn't want to give her too much information. I didn't want her to really think I I was interested. And so I started like dabbling in questions. But 4 years ago today, I sold a box of maternity clothes for $100 because I thought if I can sell these maternity clothes and get $100, I'm going to use it to start this business. And I sold the maternity clothes that day, got $100, and guess what? I didn't join. I held on to that $100 for another 46 days. I stalked like crazy. I asked questions. And on February 2nd, they had just come out of conference, and you guys, like, I wasn't even a distributor yet, and I was watching what was happening at conference like I was completely invested in this business. I was just blown away by the excitement, the momentum that these people were showing, and I just was floored. So I signed up on February 2nd of 2014, terrified, like literally terrified. Finally did it because I wanted to start thinking, like, I wanted to stop thinking about it, and I wanted to prove to myself that I was going to fail. Like, that was literally the mentality that I came into it with, because I didn't want to disappoint myself. I'm like the type of person that I say I'm going to start scrapbooking, and I buy every supply to scrapbook, and I never made a scrapbook in my life. So like, that's me, and I'm a hot mess. And so, you know what honestly changed the game for me is my first day in the business. I called my very best friend. She was like a sister to me. She was an aunt to my kids. And I said, Kara, you're never going to believe what I did. And I told her, and she said, that's ridiculous. I will not support that. And I was crushed, you guys. I was like, I don't have brothers and sisters. Like, you're supposed to support me. Like, what do you mean? And so that night I kind of went home and shut down. And I remember in the middle of the night, I was breastfeeding my daughter, and I was just, I still hadn't posted on Facebook. And instead of just like working the business or doing something to try to learn, I was on Pinterest just aimlessly scrolling, and it popped into my face like I can't even explain it. It said, other people's opinions don't pay your bills. And that was like, I literally had my first aha moment 24 hours, like my first 24 hours in the business. And y'all, it's so crazy, but that next day, it might have been that night, that next day with like, after reading that, I ended up posting, like I got kind of this like confidence that I did not really have, but I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to have to tell people like I'm doing this. I'm going all in. And so I said, by the end of May, I'm going to earn $10,000. If you don't believe me, just watch. And I was like, okay, what do I have to do to earn $10,000? I don't know what to do. And she was like, all you got to do is bring customers and distributors in. So we started on a Ruby chart, and I just instantly opened up and was vulnerable with why I joined this business. And so, you know, for me, I said, like, we were struggling with debt. And, you know, honestly, like, it wasn't even about telling people how bad we were struggling. We didn't even know how bad we were struggling. We, you know, had added up those student loans and saw that. We had never added up our credit cards. We had never added up, we had a line of credit. Like, we hadn't added, I didn't know how much I owed on my van. It was just like, we had no earthly idea how much debt we were in. So we literally sat down and added up every single thing, like line item. And I wrote it on this huge, we had this huge mirror in our laundry room, and I chalkboard painted it. And I wrote on this mirror every single debt that we had. And it was like the thing, you know, you guys, they say if your why doesn't make you cry, then you're not dreaming big enough. At that point, I didn't even feel like I could dream. I just didn't want to drown anymore. And so, seeing those numbers was a reality. Like, hello, like, you're working crazy hours, missing out on your kids, not taking your babies in at night. For what? Like, when is this going to change? So it was what made me walk through my laundry room to go to the garage every single day, multiple times a day, to see those numbers in my face that made me get up earlier. You guys, I worked night shifts. So I left for work at 5:30 in the evening and didn't get home from work until almost 9 o'clock in the morning. And I did this 4 to 5 nights a week. So I did not have a normal schedule by any means. You know, most people, the general population works during the day and they're at home at night. Well, I'm sleeping during the day and then I'm at work at night. And so I had to really like figure out, how am I going to talk to people? How am I going to message people? So I had to time crunch in the beginning of like, okay, before I can go to bed, I've got to, you know, message a certain amount of people. I've got to make a post that's going to have something for me to engage with when I wake up, which I would wake up earlier than I had previously woke up. Like I just started to make, you can look at something as a sacrifice, or you can look at it as an investment. And you know, this whole business is mindset. So if you've got a crummy mindset, if you've got a Debbie Downer, you know, crappy mindset, then that's what you get. That's what you're putting out to people, and that's what you get back in return. And so I just had to have the mindset that, you know, I was giving up watching The Bachelor and Chicago Fire and some of the things that I really, you know, had enjoyed. I was giving that up for my family. I was giving that up. I was going to sacrifice watching those things so I could invest in what was actually going to change my reality instead of living my life through somebody else's reality TV show to make me feel normal. And so that first month, I ended up going Ruby the last sign of the month, like by the skin of my teeth. But what was crazy is like, I didn't know how to go Ruby. My enroller kind of like walked away from me really early into the business because it was kind of a competition thing for her. And so once she saw that I was actually enrolling like 11 people my first month, I was kind of thrown to the wolves. To not take the spotlight off of her. So, you know, my enroller didn't quit from the beginning, but she quit on me. So I ended up figuring out at the end of the night, I was like 20 BV away, and I was freaking out because I was trying to get one more order. And then somebody said, I think you can place an order and move it. And so I got Ruby like right before the end of the night because I placed an order for like Fat Fighters, which were 23 BV then. And so then I was like, okay, this is like an aha moment for me. I made over $1,000 in my first month, and my big goal was to make $500 a month so I could hopefully pay those student loans off like when my kids were in middle school, so I could actually be the mom in the bleachers. So then I was thinking, if I needed $500 and we looked like we didn't need $500, I need to talk about the $500. I need to talk about what $500 a month is going to mean for my family, because Dave Ramsey says $500 a month can save people from bankruptcy, foreclosure, and divorce. So you guys, like, think about how many lives you could potentially impact with this business. And so when my mindset changed from like, I'm annoying people, or I'm being annoying on my post, or I shouldn't message them, they probably really don't need this. We didn't look like we needed this either, but somebody continuously messaged me for 36 months. And you know what? It changed my life. So when you look at this business as the fact that you can change people's lives, you can save them from horrid situations, like that is when you realize what you have your hands on. And my chiropractor lived across the street from me. They're triple diamonds on my team now. But she told me, you know, Ashley, in labor and delivery, you can impact only a certain portion of people. Like you impact pregnant moms and new moms. But in this business, I have no, limitations to who I can touch with this business. So you guys, this is truly a huge blessing. And when you realize that you're given the ability to change people's lives, that's when your mindset and your business truly change. So I ended up going diamond my second month in the business, and it was crazy. I got that $10,000 bonus that I said, don't believe me, just watch. I'm going to do it by the end of May. I got it my 54 days into the business. And then I thought, okay, well, what do I do now? I need to print a double diamond chart. So I figured out who on my team, if my emerald wanted to go diamond, okay, let's figure out how we're going to do it. And you guys, this was coming out of conference. I'm telling you guys, what we are about to go into is insane. Like, I sold those clothes 4 years ago today. I started dreaming then what this business was going to do for me. You need to get yourself in the mindset of what you can do right now with this whole momentum that comes like all the way through the end of May, midsummer. It just happens. But you've got to make sure you're consciously making an effort to be a part of it. So I went double diamond the next month. I went triple diamond the fourth month in the business, and ended up getting $50,000 in bonuses. And I was like, it was a whirlwind. I still look back and I'm like, I don't even know how I did it, because I was working 60 hours a week night shift. But I just had no reservation of who I was going to talk to. I was not going to let anybody stand in my way. And I just didn't give myself time to even think about, people quit. People signed up. They didn't do anything. People went missing the moment they hit submit on their distributorship. I could never get a hold of them again. But I just kept moving for the next person and the next person and the next person. And I found my runners. And so we got over a $10,000 paycheck 5 months into the business. It was absurd, you guys. I had never seen anything like that before. But then I kind of was frozen in this, I don't know, do I deserve this? This is crazy. It's $10,000. I was comfortable. And you know what I stopped doing? I stopped charting, because a triple diamond chart, all the boxes are still capable of fitting on one piece of paper, but you can barely write in them. A presidential chart is impossible to write in. So I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how I'm supposed to do this anymore. And so it took me a whole nother year to go presidential, which there's nothing wrong with that. But it was literally, you guys, me printing. I took a presidential chart. I sent it to Kinko's, had them blow it up on this huge laminate, and I started writing in it. And you know what was crazy and a little bit heartbreaking is when I started filling that presidential diamond chart out, I had 3 people that were on my diamond chart that were still on my presidential chart. New people had come in, but it was people gave up on themselves. But guess what? All 3 of those people were diamond and above. They didn't quit. They kept going. They didn't get discouraged. And so I'm just telling you guys, steps to success in charting, steps to success are how you do it, and charting is what gets you there. You have to, I paper chart everything still. I thought I had all my charts down here. But I paper chart everything still, but I still use charting beta because I like how it updates the volume and stuff. So I just continued to talk to everybody. But I think, I ended up going ambassador a year later once I finally printed an ambassador chart. It literally took me printing an ambassador chart and putting names down. But I think as long as you are consistently, I've had down times in my business. I've had times that I felt I just don't want to do this. But you know what, you guys, this is part of this is my livelihood now. This has been the only income for our family for 2 years now. But this business, if you run it with passion, and the times that I feel like I've had lulls in my business or whatever, it's because I've lost my passion and I'm not excited. Excitement sells. People don't come flocking to you because they're dying to have fat fighters. They flock to you because of your excitement, because of your passion. They buy you before they buy the business or the products. They could go just on the generic It Works site and buy fat fighters, but they chose you. So I think that me being a product of the product was one thing that I was just super excited about what I had tried. I had tried nothing when I started, but I instantly had amazing results with the greens for my allergies and headaches and acid reflux. But I also started using the wraps, which that was the thing that kept me from doing the business for 3 years, because I thought, that's ridiculous. I'm a nurse. I just didn't have a brain cell for it. But once I used them, I had results. And so when people see your results, they hear your excitement, that is what sells. And so, I kind of had a funk this summer after the $9.99 thing. And it really lasted about 2 months for me. And that was the first in my business that I had not consistently completed my steps to success. And I was like, what is going on? I couldn't figure it out. I'm gaining weight. I'm tired. What the heck's going on? And then, we had these clues dropping of keto coffee. And I was like, okay, I don't know anything about this. I suck at dieting. Terrible at dieting. I'm hiding in the bathroom, eating a piece of candy, hiding from my husband. But for whatever reason, the keto diet was really intriguing to me. And so we started before they ever announced keto coffee. We didn't know for a fact that's what was coming, but we started the keto diet, and it's been something that we've been doing consistently now minus like the week of Thanksgiving. And we've lost weight, and I love the coffee. So you know what, you guys, my business is exploding because I love the coffee. I'm so obsessed with it. I don't go a day without drinking it. I'm constantly dripping on my Facebook with my Ray Dunn coffee mug with my keto coffee in it. And people see me taking the products. They've seen a difference in my actual body, and that my husband and I have lost weight. So it lit this passion and excitement to share that with people. So if you're feeling like just kind of like tired, like that was the best way that I could describe myself in like August and September, is I was just exhausted. And it was that I just wasn't passionate. Like I had lost my mojo. I had lost my excitement. So, you know, maybe it's getting out and doing a full treatment on wraps, using your products, getting back to the basics. But what I will tell you, my husband explained an analogy to me a couple of years ago about how he grew up surfing in Florida. And so surfing, somebody that knows how to surf, they know, like they get on their board, on their stomach, and they are ready to start paddling before, like they can see the wave coming in. So they start paddling before the wave gets to them. But he's like, if I sent you out there on a surfboard, you're going to be like, oh crap, there's the wave, and like try to swim really fast. Well, that's kind of how this business is too. Right now is the time, like, we're telling you the wave is coming. If you haven't been here for this time of the year that's coming, we're telling you it's coming. So you should already be paddling your tails off, because if you sit back and take a break during this time and you're like, oh, I'll just wait and see what happens with conference, you're already behind the 8 ball, you guys. Like, this is the time to be paddling. And you may not always have like a ton of people jump with you right now. The holidays can be tight money-wise for people, but you know, something else is people also are comfortable spending money during the holidays because it's this like time that they're just prepared to spend money. But what I will tell you is a lot of people are paying for Christmas on credit cards, and they're going to start getting those credit card bills in January and February, and they start freaking out because they've got all this, credit card debt that they've built up. But people also start getting income tax returns, and income tax returns make people feel like they're ballers. So they start buying products and they want to start the business. So like, you guys, get these seeds planted and water them. Like, if they would not have followed up with me for 36 months, I wouldn't be here today. And my enroller is long gone now, but I have to be so thankful that she never gave up on me. And now, because of that, my family paid off every single bit of those student loans that weren't supposed to be paid off till 2030. We've paid off so much debt because of this business. So I really encourage you right now to sit down. Something we did and we do every year is, my husband, he's so supportive, but there's still times where he can be like annoyed that I'm on my phone or whatever. But when we do dream boards or anything, we do them with our kids. We do, like, my kids have one, me and my husband have one. And we've always said, like, okay, what if you could have anything, like, what would you be? Like, one of my dream boards had a bow and arrow on it because my husband wanted a bow and arrow. Like, talk to your family, to your kids, so they understand what you're doing. Like, Cade, my 6-year-old, knows that we get to drop what we're doing and show up at school at 12:25 once a week or every other week to eat lunch with him. Like, none of the other parents get to do that, and we do it together. So, and he knows that that's because of it works. So right now is the time that you need to be planting your seeds and watering them, going back and organizing. Like, if you have people, I know when I started this business, I didn't keep track of people that I talked to. So I would literally go into my Facebook messages and like scroll and be like, I haven't talked to this person in like 3 weeks. You've got to get some organization systems of like how you're going to keep track of these people. But figure out why. Like, I think we're so quick to say like, oh, I want to be debt free, or oh, I want to pay off debt, or I want to, whatever it may be. I think we're so superficial with our goals and our dreams, but we don't dig down deep. And I think me digging down and literally saying like, I don't even remember what it was, like $17,342.17 is what we owed on my minivan. Like, okay, that's like legit. Like we need to pay off that. How are we going to do it? What are we going to, so when paychecks come, like how much are we going to commit to putting towards it? And we just snowballed that debt. And you guys, it makes you want to pay off more and more and more. So it just drives you that much harder in the business. So really sit down and figure out why you're doing this, and then talk about it. Don't be scared to talk about it. I'm telling you, Christy, I was telling last night when she was on my team Zoom that, people relate to your struggles too. And I think we're so quick to think like, oh, of course they signed with the Ambassador Diamond that's a stay-at-home mom and, gets to do whatever she wants. And, I don't get to do that. You guys, I didn't do that till after I was presidential. I worked full-time all the way up through presidential, and I didn't quit till after I went ambassador. But people related to me, and I signed ridiculous amounts of people because I was just so vulnerable. Like, I'm just like you. I get it. It's hard. It sucks. Like, I know that you are struggling, and I know that, diapers are expensive. And so talk about the things that you struggle with, because other people are going to relate to you, and they're going to feel so much more comfortable to come to you, because they're going to feel like, oh, well, she's not going to judge me because, if I tell her how bad we're struggling, I'm going to sneeze, I think. My nose is tickling. But don't be scared to talk about that. I think people think you've got to like have it all together or something before you can share your story. And that's not the case at all. And it's okay to share the amazing moments that, top leaders have. I just shared Sherry Lynn Alcala's, post about her house. I mean, that's incredible. And there's certain people out there that aren't struggling, but maybe they're just looking for something to do. And, for me, we were struggling, but I had also lost who I was. Like, I had lost my confidence because I just felt like I was an exhausted nurse. I was a wife. I was a mom, but who was I? Like, what was I passionate about? What did I really feel like I was doing other than just clocking in and out? And so there's people out there. I mean, I have a triple diamond on my team who I probably never in a million years would have asked to join my team. I worked for her family at the largest country bar in Orlando. They lived in the same neighborhood as Tiger Woods. Like, financially, they didn't need this business, but her soul needed this business. Like, she needed this business to give her confidence to know that she wasn't just a stay-at-home mom whose kids were now fully in school. She could change people's life with this business, and that's what she has prided herself on. So, I don't know, like, that's kind of my biggest tips, I would say, but that all goes along with signing distributors, is talking, like, you guys stop just copying and pasting other people's posts. Sit down and, if you do it the night before, if you're busy, sit down and think about, what you're going through, what you want, something I heard Pam say one time, if you're struggling with dreaming big, because sometimes it's hard. When you're struggling, it's hard to think about like, oh, I want to do this or I want to do that. Like, you just want to survive. And so one time Pam said, think about the things that you don't want. And for me, like, I even had to do that after I had, got presidential and ambassador. And I just thought, gosh, I don't ever want to go back to being a nurse again. I don't ever want somebody to tell me, oh, sorry, we're not going to give you that date off to be a bridesmaid in a wedding. Oh, sorry, it's your Christmas to work every other Christmas. Like, I had to think about the things I didn't want. So maybe you're struggling to dream big. Think about the things that you don't want people to have control over anymore. I remember my child gets strep throat like none other. And I remember being told, if you call in one more time, you're going to be written up, and you get one write-up before you go into disciplinary action. And it's like, I mean, what am I supposed to do? My child has strep throat. They can't go to the daycare. And so for me, that's something I don't want somebody to ever tell me, like, you can't be home with your babies. Like, or that, oh, sorry, no, you can't have Monday nights off. Monday night is your scheduled night to work. So first season of T-ball, I missed every single one of Cade's T-ball games, you guys. I used to hide in the bathroom at the hospital. My mom would message me and say, he's about to hit. And I would run to the bathroom and I would watch my son swing a bat on FaceTime. Like, what kind of life is that? That's not what you were created to do. And it's not fair. And you have an opportunity in your hands that can change everything for you. But you've got to just believe, and then you just got to go out and have the confidence, whether or not you have it or not. The more you do something, the more confident you get in it. So, share your story, share your journey, share where you're going because of this business. You don't have to be there yet. Share where you're going. Something that somebody once told me, it's in the Bible, people without a vision perish. And so, if you're not putting a vision out there for your potentials, they're going to think like, well, what is she really doing? Is she just trying to get me to buy some products? Or like, where is she going with this? Because people want to support you. So it's just, you guys, it is so much mindset. So listening, I am like the queen of buying. I probably buy like 2 or 3 books a month, and I read like a chapter, and then they're just piled up on my nightstand and not finished. You get me, don't you? Yeah. And so I have to listen to audibles or podcasts. And you guys, seriously, sometimes audibles can be so long too that I'll be in the car and I'm like listening, but I'm like, oh, there's a cow. Oh, there's that car. I might know that person. Like I'm so distracted all the time. And so it's literally just going on YouTube and typing in like motivational or something. And sometimes it's just listening to a 10 or 15 minute, blurb from a motivational speaker, Tony Robbins. I'm telling you one thing that I did stay super, super focused on. I'm going to write it in the chat. TD Jakes and Stephen Furtick. There is an interview by TD Jakes. He is a pastor, and he's a motivational speaker. He's an entrepreneur, so it's all like geared towards entrepreneurs. But if you go to YouTube and type in TD Jakes and Stephen Furtick, which Stephen Furtick, I swear, I feel like his sermons every Sunday, you can watch them on YouTube. I feel like he's speaking to It Works. They just seem to always go with our business, but they do an interview and it's like an hour and a half long, but you'll want to watch it like 3 or 4 times and take notes. It's so amazing. So it's listening to that kind of stuff. But you guys, for me, like I have an It Works playlist on my Amazon Prime Music, and it's not like It Works music. It's just kind of what I feel like pumps me up or gets me in the mood to be like motivated. So, that's part of personal development to me too, is just getting myself in the right mindset. It's really easy for, those of us that work from home now or stay-at-home moms to like not get dressed, like to be in, a sweatshirt and no bra and, comfy pants and stay in your bed and just like, I'll be like, oh, I'm just going to work from my bed today. And then I'm like, oh, I might just take a nap too. And so for me, like I have to either like go to a coffee shop or go to I have to set myself up to be working. Otherwise I'm not productive. And so that's just something I know about me because I'm ADD, like I'm all over the place. And so figure out what works for you. What works for me may not work for you. What works for Christy may not work for you. But when I started, I got the magazine, The Success from Home, which is now the Wrap magazine. And I just went through that and I didn't friend request them. I just followed those leaders and I watched how they worked their business. I watched and I found the people that I felt were like me and I could relate to their story. Bonnie L. Trudeau was a night shift labor and delivery nurse. Had a couple of kids and I related to her. And so find those people, but don't copy them. Just, figure out who inspires you, and not everybody's going to be, you're not going to be Christy, you're not going to be me, you're not going to be Jade Hooper, you're not going to be Jocelyn Yates, you're not going to be Rachel Williamson. You've got to be you at the end of the day, but just be excited and be passionate, and that's what sells to people.
Okay. I don't know. No, you're amazing. Sorry, I'm like coughing to death over here. So somebody asked me privately, okay, so like, what is your schedule when you worked your business? Because I actually have a girl who just signed up who I know could be so amazing. So it kind of goes along with this question, but like when did you work? It was like right when you got home or right before you left or in between? Because I know you have to sleep right when you get home and so on and so forth. So what was kind of your schedule?
So for me, say I worked Sunday nights. So I went in Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, And then at the other hospital, I typically worked like 1 to 2 days, like through the weekend. And so say, Sunday I would have with my family and I would try to take a nap, but I would do things on Sunday, make posts, talk about whatever we were doing, talk about our family, what we were doing. But I would subliminally have like products in the background or talk about, like, I'm glad that, whatever. I was trying to put my family. You cannot just advertise to people. And so then I would go to work, and you guys, like my phone, I never got in trouble at work for my phone. I would honestly like hide in like cubbies and, try to respond to people. But I would take my phone to the bathroom with me, and I would just, you would have thought I was probably pooping every time I went to the bathroom, because I would take the time to like message 2 or 3 people or respond to 2 or 3 people. But then while I was at work, you guys, like I was hardcore hater, and I was a nurse. And so people in healthcare, like if you can get them into this business, they tend to be really, really good because people tend to trust people in healthcare. But we are probably some of the most stubborn, like just hard-headed people to get through. And so I just had to like tell myself, like, I know I'm going to get flack about this at work. And so I still, even if I had had my greens, as soon as I woke up in the, in the afternoon before I got ready for work, I would still take my greens again in front of them. Whenever I would like pull out my lunchbox and I'd all be sitting around the nurse's station eating at 2:00 in the morning, I would like obnoxiously pull my fat fighters out and like fumble them around so they would make noise. And I would take them. And, a lot of times I wouldn't really say anything unless they asked, but I would do things in front of them, or I would like have a wrap on and I would like lift my scrub up and like scratch so they could see my wrap. And I would just do things to kind of like drop it. But you guys, I had an anesthesiologist come in. There was probably 12 of us in the nurses station, and an anesthesiologist came in, wrapped head to toe like a mummy in toilet paper, and had taken one of my product catalogs, and he was like, my name's Ashley, I'm a rap girl, blah, 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 and like totally made fun of me in front of like 12 people. But now I should like call Marion and be like, hey, joke's on you, I make more than you now. But you guys, I just didn't let those people, like, it's so, but I'm like, whatever, you're not paying my bills. I'm still sitting here in this crap hole while my son is playing t-ball. So I just had to like throw all that out. So then, I would message on my lunch break because that was my time. I would message when I went to the bathroom. But then typically what I would try to do is, say I got to daycare to pick up my kids. Before I could go into daycare, I would like stop while I had my full focus, and I'd make a post. And then I'd go get my kids, and I'd have time to spend some time with my kids. And then, I'd be able to start to respond to those people. But in the mornings when I walked out of the hospital, then I would sit in my car in the parking lot, and I would make a post before I could pull out of the parking lot, because I had a 45-minute drive home. And so by the time I got home, I typically would eat breakfast, and it would take me a little bit of time to wind down, just like you do from a normal daytime job. You can't just like crash. And so I would kind of sit in bed and mess around. I'd message people. Well, I used to sleep till 5:00, but instead I started getting up at 3 in the afternoon, so I could have those 2 hours to kind of sit in my bed, respond to people, still kind of get myself going. So I just had to make those sacrifices of, instead of going to bed at, 8:30 when I got home, I didn't maybe fall asleep till 9:00. And then instead of sleeping till 5:00, I got up at 3:00. And so I had to, I say sometimes, like looking back, it was easier to work my business when I felt like I was in a time crunch than, now, like we have all this time because we work from home. So you have to diligently be like, I'm going to sit down and work. Because you can go through aimlessly throughout the day and be like, oh, I'm working, and then feel like you got nothing accomplished. So you just got to be smart with your time, you guys. Like I said, I took my phone to the bathroom. I didn't chit-chat at lunchtime, on our nighttime lunch shift. I messaged people. I talked to people. They would see me with my charts out, and they'd be like, are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to get a $10,000 bonus with an average of $2,000 a month paycheck. Like, what was your last biweekly paycheck you just made as a nurse? Oh, wasn't that, was it? So you guys, it's just being confident, being bold, telling people where you're going, and then just, you fit this business into your life. Like, make this business part of your life. We went to my daughter's Christmas program today. I wore a normal shirt, which isn't, I typically always have on It Works shirts, but my husband still had on an It Works hat and a pullover. Like, it's just part of our lives. People know that's who we are. And you guys, right now, like, our house that we built, our dream house, 2 years ago, and our town is so small, we don't even have a population sign, and there's 17 It Works distributors. So don't for 1 second think that like where you live is saturated, or that too many people, like, we've had people that have like come in, did It Works before us, went to another company, and like, we've had to kind of change the how people look at us, I guess. But social media is a powerful tool, such a powerful tool. So don't ever put yourself in a box. If you put yourself in a box, you're the only person you're hurting. And if you're not asking people, so often I think like people think, oh, I'll just throw up a message and I did work. But if you're not asking people, you're just advertising for me or for Christy. Like, so make sure you are asking people. I posted a post on our team page today that I saw another distributor say that he had tried to build a relationship with this girl for like 6 months. And then, he tried to build a relationship with this girl for like 6 months. And then she finally went to ask her yesterday. And the girl said, oh my gosh, somebody else just asked me 2 days ago. So I'm praying about it. But since she asked me first, I would go with her. So like, you guys, you have to ask people. So that's, I don't know if that helped with the time thing. It was just kind of like wherever I could fit it in. I wasn't letting that time go. And, when my kids were 2 and newborn, like, they didn't really care as long as I was in the same room with them. If I was laying, on my stomach while Cade played with trains or whatever, like, he didn't care if I was on my phone. Now he knows, like, this is my business, but I also make the time to give him that personal time too. So you guys, investing, not looking at it as a sacrifice, investing now is going to give you so much time with your kids later. I promise you that. Like, it's so worth it. Mom guilt is a real thing. They did an amazing panel on it 2 years ago at conference. You can probably find the recording still. But mom guilt's a real thing. But you got to realize, like, you are investing in your kids' futures, and you're going to get so much more time with them, and valuable time, and not rushed time. So do it now. Think about what you can do now for the future of your babies.
Okay, well, you are amazing, and I just want to.
I'm sweating.
Okay, so you know what's really funny? I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. Yesterday, after I was on your training, I like went downstairs and I'm like, babe, feel my back. I'm like dripping sweat, which is so funny that you say that. And you guys, like, I guess that kind of just tells you like how passionate you get, when you have a team and when you really love the business, like you just start sweating, But I love your husband's analogy about surfing. Like, that is gold. Like, you guys,
it's just such a good visual.
It is. And I never know how to be like, just don't wait to start, but it's coming. Like, you never know how to explain it, but that's so true. Like, the wave is coming, but you have to be prepared for it, or else you're going to get swept away and left behind. So well, and you guys, you're getting ready to go be around your family a week from today, or this weekend. Like, do like I did at the nurse's station. Like, pull your fat fighters out after you eat your Christmas meal. Like, put your wrap on underneath, and while you guys are opening presents, like, reach up and scratch. People ask questions. Like, let people see that, like, what you're doing is real, but talking about why you're doing it. Like, say, whatever your reasoning is, like,
let your family know that and just say, like, can you support me? Like, your support would mean so much to me. But I mean, if it's awkward for you to bring it up, like, pull out a Greens on the Go packet and pour it in a water bottle in front of your family. That was the other thing at the hospital. I always poured it, even though I didn't really like Greensberry, in water for a long time. I would still pour it in a clear plastic water bottle so people could be like, what are you drinking? That's disgusting. But then, I could tell them why I was drinking it. So you're about to go into a time where you can talk to people that care about you.
Yes, I love that. And you know what? Also, what I want to reiterate too is that it's so funny because I talk to leaders all the time, people like you, triples, presidentials, all of these people, and so often I hear them say, like, yeah, my enroller is long gone. For example, my enroller is long gone. Your enroller is long gone. And it always just reminds me that if you just work your business consistently every month, even if you're bringing in one new person, 3 new people, 20 new people, whatever it is, eventually somebody is going to become an Ashley. Somebody is going to take off. Somebody is going to run. But if you're not there to see it, it's going to benefit somebody else. Like, yep. That's just what it is. Like, maybe Ashley's enroller didn't realize she was going to be such a rock star. I know sure as heck mine didn't, because in the beginning I was really like a turtle, but guess what? Now other people above them are benefiting and they're long gone. So you have to be here to benefit from the work you're putting in now, or else you will regret it, because maybe it's 6 months from now, maybe it's 9 months from now, like somebody's going to take off and you're going to be like, well, that sucks. Like I should have stuck around, So, and I see, it's like, I feel like it's like almost, 75% of leaders, you'll be like, yeah, my enroller's gone. And I'm just like mind blown by that. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's crazy. Well, hey, the other thing I was going to tell you guys that I do for personal development is I love the Sprinkle of Jesus app. It's like one of my favorites. Sometimes there's some weird ones. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, what's happening on this? But today we were just talking about like how people second guess what we do in the business or whatever. And literally I'm having this conversation with a triple diamond on my team, and mine comes through today that said, Noah looked like an idiot until it started to rain. Keep building. And so, Noah's building this huge boat and everybody's thinking like, you're an idiot. Like, why are you building this ginormous boat? Well, then it saved, all these people and animals and stuff. So, some people may look at you like you're an idiot or think that, what you're doing is dumb or it's a scam or whatever, but keep building because it'll pay off. I promise you that.
Yes. And you know what? It's so funny that we were talking about the books and buying them and not reading them. I just felt like, okay, I need to fully finish like one of my personal development books. So last night I actually started reading The Magic of Thinking Big, and I've started it plenty of times. I've started playing it, and I'm like, I just need to. And I watch videos on YouTube all the time, but there's something different that happens when you like read a book and it's silent around you.
I love to highlight it.
Yes, and you can like mark it. And so I did that last night, and I just went to bed and I felt so good, and it just made today such a good day, because what you put in your head right before bed and right when you wake up, that's going to determine your days. And so I love that. And you know what? It's so funny that you say that, that thing about Noah too, because like, you guys, this is a business. There's no reason for anyone to think anything negative about it. A scam, like what? I'm selling product. Like, you're going to Walmart and you're buying a product. It literally doesn't make any sense. And when I've had people come to me to like potentials, for example, and they're like, well, is it, like, I want to do it, but I'm scared. Like, is it something? I'm like, you're selling products. Like, if you go to Walmart, it's the same thing. It's just somebody else making the money instead of you. Like,
yeah, you're selling products for somebody else.
Yeah.
And minimum wage.
When people ask me stuff like that too, I kind of just play dumb. Like, what do you mean it's a business? Like, what are you talking about? Like, no, that's the answer. No. So, I love that though. I actually, because you always post your, your Sprinkle of Jesus things in the ambassador page, I actually just downloaded the app because I'm like, all right, these are really good, you know. And
it's just like, and I always feel like they just come at the right time. And I'm like, because there's no, like, it's not like they always come at 10 a.m. Like sometimes they're at 2, sometimes they're at 4, sometimes they're at 9 o'clock at night. Sometimes I'll get 2 a day. Sometimes I won't get any for like 3 days. And so it's just so crazy because literally like we were sitting in a parking lot at a restaurant and we rolled up our windows and my thing dinged and I was like, and I screenshot it and sent it to her. I was like, well, that's interesting.
That is so awesome. And it's so funny because if you guys really actually pay attention, everything in your lives, it kind of like comes back to it. Like even just like I said, Ashley kept posting about the Sprinkle of Jesus and she said, you guys need to get this app. But I'm like, I don't need that app. Well, after the 5th or 6th time of her posting it and me being like, okay, I believe her. She's really excited about this app. I downloaded the app. Like, it's just like our business. Like, people are going to silently be watching you and they will eventually do it. But anyway, so is there anything that you want to leave us with or are you good?
I just feel like you guys just start now. Don't even, and don't look. I think we get so caught up, whether you've been in the business for a month and you're like, oh, I haven't signed my 4 customers, or you've been in the business for 3 years and you haven't promoted. We get so caught up in like what hasn't happened instead of, you can't control what hasn't happened anymore. You can't control what happened the last 30 days or the last 60 days or the last 6 years, but you can control your actions moving forward. So whether, it's almost 10 o'clock for me, so I know it's earlier for some of you guys, but go tonight and do something. Figure out, maybe it's just a 6 list of what you're going to do tomorrow. Make some sample posts, save them in the note sections of your phone. But you've got to decide you're going to take action or nothing's going to change. You have control to change your life, but you've got to take the action to make it happen. So, and if you don't, somebody else is going to. So, you got to figure out why you're doing it and then start tonight, start tomorrow morning as a brand new day, clean slate, and then just decide, like, you guys, you still have, what is it? Tomorrow's the 19th? Is that right? I think so. Tomorrow's the 19th.
Yeah.
So you still have 5 days to earn Christmas cash. Like, do you realize how much Christmas cash you could still earn in 5 days? So you guys, this is the time to run your business like crazy. Set yourself up for what's coming. Be ahead of the wave. So
yes,
that's all I got.
Thank you so much. You are awesome. You have an amazing fire, and I'm so excited again to see you at conference. It's going to be so much fun. And I appreciate you jumping on, and I will see all of you guys later.
Bye. Awesome. Sounds good. Thanks, guys.